This is a video ad that I filmed back in 2018.
Because it's the most effective strategy that you can use for whether it's events or building a fan base. And these are strategies that I use for multiple businesses, or actually all the businesses that I have as a client for marketing.
And this is an ad which I filmed, I think, just the other month. Service-based business owners are picking up to the fact that generating their own leads online isn't that difficult and it's not that time consuming. Agencies are selling you this lie that it takes all this time and all this effort to be able to generate qualified leads. Now, aside from the stark difference in my overall body weight and composition, it's also a pretty clear difference in delivery, conviction, confidence, and you can tell very easily that I'm not reading off a script in the second video as opposed to, I don't think I was on the first, but it comes off very awkward and jarring. And so as a business owner, you probably hate the idea of filming content. It's very rare that I actually speak to any business owners that enjoy filming content. Contrary to popular belief, I actually don't really like filming content at all because I find it really time consuming. And like even now, like how long have I been recording for? Like an hour and a half? I'm losing brain power and I've got like 6 hours of meetings ahead of me. So what I want to share in this video is some useful tips for business owners that are trying to generate more leads on the internet, that don't like being on camera, that consider themselves camera shy, that you hit record and all of a sudden you forget how to speak English, and also you're time poor. And so you want to be able to squeeze more ads out. The benefit of ads as well though, is that you can film one and then you can, depending on the audience size, you can just let it rip and you can run that one for a couple months. Like most of you have probably seen that video ad from me back in, that I started running in 2021. It's called the Hoodie Rant ad in my ad account. And I'm like, I can't believe I had to film this ad for building time or whatever the it is. I think it was like 15 million impressions or something like that. So if you want to learn how to run ads with an entire team of specialists in your corner, then click the link in the description so you can apply for the With You program. But what I'm going to talk about now are some useful things for business owners trying to film their own ads or video sales letters that don't consider themselves, camera pros. The first thing I'm going to tell you to do, don't script it. Now, there's a couple of weird parts of human evolution. The first one that we talk about in the With You program is people can just tell when someone's reading off of a script. It comes off very robotic and jarring. It will sound like, hey, my name's Brandon Wellington. I'm the owner and director at Where You. We're digital advertising. It's like, it just comes off really forced and awkward. People can tell, and regardless of how good the words that you say are, the quality of the way that you say it, they'll lose a little bit of trust with you, even just subconsciously. And so I typically advise members in our With You program to not script it and just work with a couple points. A second reason for this as well, actually, is I work with, I have a lot of coaches. It takes a lot of different coaches and advisors and mentors to hold me together. And one of them is a flow coach, Cameron Norsworthy, that I work with here in Perth. And he taught me, so there's process goals, performance goals, and there's outcome goals. Now, to reach flow state, you need to be focusing on the process. So for example, if you're an elite chess player like Tim, wherever he is, he's not focused on win or lose. He's just looking at the board and going, what is the best move on the board given the move that just happened and where everything is positioned? He's just focused on the process. Whereas when you're focused on the outcome, win or lose, often in terms of like recording video content, it's, did I say this next word right? I'll give you a perfect example. So I had 2 junior sales reps I was coaching here at Where You, and I gave them the pitch for With You. And I said, yep, learn this. And when we were role playing it with them, it came off very robotic, just like the example I was giving before. It's like up until 2 years ago, Brendan it's very robotic. It's because they were focused on the outcome of just say this word and then say this word. Like it was more say the script correctly or incorrectly, based off of just what word was next. And so what I taught them was the process, which was the feedback story arc, which was the previous video which we just recorded. It might be uploaded, it might be next week or something like that. So I taught them the process of the feedback story arc, which is essentially, the feedback we got from the market that spawned the With You program, the 2-day workshop, which is how we solve it, the good problem that it creates, how we solve that with support, and then basically a summary. And then taught them, hey, just like hit these 5 points and just say the words don't particularly matter, but just follow this process. They immediately became far more human, less awkward and jarring in their delivery. And so don't script it because you're going to come off really robotic, especially if you're just like looking over there and then looking back, there's all these jump cuts and stuff like that. Second thing, you're probably wondering, well, if I don't script it, what the do I say? So I'll talk about structure. Now the structure that I use is always just like hook, prove, tell. So the hook, I'm going to spend a little bit more time talking about this in a second, but basically we want to make a statement that speaks to your customers towards or away from motivators. So I've got some other videos on like towards and away from motivators. Your customer's like a little bit of a mouse. He's got bits of cheese that he's running towards, and then bits like cats he's running away from. And then you want to list out the towards and away from motivators, and then just pick one and then just speak to that in the hook. For example, a lot of you, if you've been following us, have probably seen my ad where I think the opening line was, every single SEO agency owner I know is a coward. That speaks to the away from motivator that I know a lot of the people that come to us for help is, which is SEO agencies. It just emotionally triggers people when I say SEO agencies, and so they're just more inclined to just stop and see what I have to say. And then prove, I really don't overthink things too much. I basically just explain a story that gets them from where they are right now to where they want to be instead. It barely matters what you say in your video ads, as long as it's from the business owner, it's not scripted. You don't, if you swear, you had to censor it because I swear a lot. But don't overthink the script. It's more in your delivery and the quality of your delivery instead of just, I said this word and oh wait, but I forgot this one particular word here, right? And then just always tell them to click below. Now I'm going to spend the heavy lifting, however, is done in the hook. So I typically, like when me and Aiden are filming ads like we were today, I'll spend most of the time, like the first question I'm running through in my head is what's my hook going to be? Because once I get the hook out, talking about that hook and that motivator, that towards or away from motivator, and then finding a way linguistically to get to click below to like learn more, click below to solve this yourself. That's relatively easy. But the hook does a couple of different things. The hook's most important because it's going to determine if they even get to the 45-second mark at all. The average view duration on social media is 1.8 seconds. Fish have memories of 3, so it's looking grim for the human race. And so we have like 1.8 seconds to prove to someone this is for you, also not for someone else. I'll talk to that in a second. This is for you and you should pay attention. Now, I've talked about hooks a couple times on this YouTube channel and also on some of our like Instagram reels and things like that. The hook does a lot of heavy lifting because like 100% of people see the first couple of seconds, like at least the first second. And so that's where all the heavy lifting is. Like changing the verbiage of one word 55 seconds in, where only 5% of people get there, isn't really going to move the needle that much. And so there's a couple of things you want to do in your hook. Now, one, I like emotionally triggering people. I've spoken about red brain versus green brain on this channel a couple times before. People act significantly faster when they're thinking emotionally. So I'll usually make statements that emotionally trigger people quite a lot. Like I'll call out competitors, I swear, which emotionally triggers some people. I'm not telling you to do that, but also I don't mind copping the heat in the comments. Like I don't really care. Like sometimes I just like scroll through the comments and like have a good giggle at people like having to go like my beard was shaped weird or something like that. So I emotionally trigger people and I clarify who it's for, and I also imply who it's not for. So for example, rather than just saying this is for business owners, I will say something like business owners trying to generate leads, because generate leads is a service-based business owner problem. E-commerce businesses who we don't work with don't have the problem of generating leads. And so less people, not no, but less e-commerce people will click the ad, because I said service-based business owners with an empty pipeline or buying leads off of Zip Leads. I'll speak to problems which are specific to business owners service-based business owners, so that non-service-based business owners are just less likely to click. Another thing, look down the barrel of the camera. I actually started working with a voice coach, I think about this time last year. And the one thing that we worked on with me, which improved the click-through rates of my ads, the performance of my ads, performance of my video sales letters, performance of my webinars as well, was actually simply just looking down the barrel of the camera. Diana Cooney is her name. I'll put a link to her Instagram or something like that in the description. She's the voice coach that I worked with that I highly recommend. The one thing that we worked on was just looking down the barrel of the camera because it builds connection significantly stronger. I still often, like, to be honest, like there's probably a couple times in this video where I looked off to the side or something like that. Sometimes just because I'm thinking, but more often than not, I try and force myself to just look down the barrel of the camera, and so I just looked away then, and it's builds a stronger connection with the person watching. Works for video sales letters, works for ads, also works for your sales calls as well. Oh yeah, I got asked on my personal Instagram, it's wilco.onlychild. Someone asked me tips for people filming that are just starting out on a low budget. Honestly, your iPhone's perfectly fine. Like we've got 2 DSLR cameras set up here, but this is for YouTube. When you're starting out, you want to aim for quantity first, not so much quality. Now there is a little bit of a caveat to this. If you have a x-axis and a y-axis, and the y-axis is the like production quality, and the x-axis is like brand value. There's a little bit of a curve like this, and so like if you're like drop shipping ADHD fidget spinners off of like Alibaba, you can get away with like Android videos or something like that. But if you're selling Ferrari SF90, you need to have like 8K footage and like 300 frames per second and all that stuff. And so there is that little bit of a caveat there. But for most service-based business owners, I found that your iPhone's incredibly fine. Like how many megapixels does the new camera have? Like it's a great camera. Just use that. It's perfectly fine. Get quantity in at the start and then you can get fancy later. Oh yeah, and then obviously a lot of my ads I'm capable of one-taking them, so you don't need to cut the ums and the ahs. We actually do an exercise in the With You program where we write people's ads first, like the actual primary text of like a meta ad, and then I pick a random person in the room, I get them to read their ad out to me, and then I show them, like we set a stopwatch, and I'll film an ad on my phone from the ad that they just read. For someone whose industry I don't know anything about, but the way that I do it is I go, cool, give me the first line of the hook, and then I stop them, and then I'll film it, but like just not word for word. I'll just say it in my own words. I go, cool, what's the next bit? I'll let them read a couple of lines. I go, stop. And then while it's still recording, I'll just do the next bit in my own words and so on and so forth. And then once we airdrop it to my laptop, upload it to CapCut, you can just like cut out all the ums, the ahs, all the awkward silences. You don't need to one-take things. If you can, great. But if you can't, it doesn't matter. You can just, a lot of, it was really surprising to me. Like everyone really thought that they needed to one-take all of their ads. You can take 5 minutes to film like a 45-second ad and then just cut out the other 4 minutes and 15 seconds in CapCut. Editing's great. So you don't need to one-take it. Take all the time that you need to come off natural, or really think of your words. Anyway, that's pretty much all the tips I can think of now. If you want to apply for the With You program, know how to become a pro at all this stuff, have our entire team, and you can want to click the link in the description. There's a video at the top of the page, explains how everything will work. You can check out testimonials, apply, book a call with the team, see what the dates are. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, all gravy. And see you in the next video.